On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, follow O'Fallon police officers as they teach young people the art of policing. Meet up with a special basketball team with the heart of a champion, and find out about summer road projects taking place in the city. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to this episode of O'Fallon Matters. The City of O'Fallon is currently working on a long-range project to replace aged water mains in the Forest Park subdivision with new, modern water mains. Joe Meyer is here with details on the project.
Back in 2016, the Water and Sewer Division contracted with an engineering firm to evaluate the city's distribution system, along with developing a distribution system capital improvement plan. The plan included a 20-year pipe replacement program, and the Forest Park subdivision was chosen as the highest priority to replace.
We've noticed in the past 5 or so years that the breaks in the Forest Park subdivision have actually kind of increased with age of pipe. It's an older subdivision. We've noticed that with the more frequent breaks in pipe, the more times we have to shut off residents and possibly have them out of water.
Now, the City of O'Fallon has hired a 4-man crew to perform the task of replacing the aged water infrastructure. The crew is tasked with replacing 1 mile of water main a year.
So right now it's expected to take about 5 years to get from Eggering being the south border to Tom Ginnever being the north border. We're actually going to be replacing the water main and the water service lines, and that will be going from the water main to the meter pit, so where your meter is. So with that, we will have to do, like I said, 600 or 700 feet at a time, and then we'll test it to make sure the water's safe, and then pressurize it to make sure that the pipe is safe and isn't going to break. After that, we'll put them back in service and it'll be done.
The new water main is anticipated to be installed next to the old water main, outside of the pavement as much as possible, and in the city right-of-way. Installation of the new water main will disturb yards, driveways, sidewalks, and roadways.
If there's bushes in the right-of-way where we're replacing the water line, unfortunately we're going to have to leave those out, because one, if there's a valve there or something and we go to put bushes back in, then it's kind of a obstacle for us to get in there if we do have an emergency in the future. We are looking at contracting out the restoration. Once we get through their yards, we will test our pipe, make sure it's good, and once we do that, we will get our contractor out there to seed and straw the lawns.
The crew and contractor will provide a time frame of notification as to how long the driveway access will be restricted. Keep in mind that during the project, water will be shut off for short periods of time. These shutoffs will occur during service line transfers from the old main to the new main, and also during final main line connections with other water mains. City staff will notify residents of these shutoffs by using door hangers, message boards, the city's Twitter, the city's Facebook page, and Swift 911.
I will be the field guy out on site every day. So if you have any questions, feel free to stop by. I'll talk to you anytime. If you have any questions that you want to email in, feel free. The email address is waterreplacement@ofallon.mo.us.
Young people got a taste of what police work is all about thanks to the Junior Citizens Police Academy presented by O'Fallon's Finest. OFallonTV's Brett Figgis is here with this story.
It starts with a search for fingerprints, and it ends with flashing lights and the clink of tightening handcuffs. But nobody's actually getting arrested. This is just an average day at the Junior Citizens Police Academy. And over the course of the program, young participants got a chance to go behind the badge and see what police work is all about.
This is kind of like a fun program for the kids to learn the basic aspects of police work. You know, we've gone through patrol, we've gone through crime scene processing. They're going to learn some internet safety and some first aid.
They get to meet a few different police officers, and we do some presentations on crime scene investigations. We do tours of the facility. They got to see the jail today. They thought that was really cool. So they've got to do a lot of the day-to-day stuff that people maybe don't see all the time.
Using a combination of lectures, videos, and hands-on activities, kids got to see the tactics and tools used by our officers on a daily basis. During one session, they learned how to make traffic stops and how our officers call things in on the radios. During another, they learned how specialized tools can be used to find evidence or hunt down fingerprints. They even got to take a tour of our jail cells and learn how our officers book a suspect. The Junior Citizens Police Academy is plenty informative, but above all, it's just fun for the kids and the officers.
I really like it. I think on the one hand, it's at the same time more and less glamorous than kids always think that it is. It's just different. It's different than I thought it was going to be before I was a police officer. But it's cooler in a lot of ways than what you think, and the kids get to really kind of get in touch with what we really do on a day-to-day basis, and it's really exciting for them.
The Junior Citizens Police Academy has two primary goals. The first is to combat the CSI effect that surrounds police work and show off how policing is different from how it looks on TV. The second and more important goal is to further our community outreach and humanize our officers.
Well, something I'd like for these kids to come out of the program with is that they can come talk to a police officer, that we're not the bad people, we are open-minded, we treat people with kindness and dignity, and that's what I'd like them to get out of this program.
The Junior Citizens Police Academy is one of several police academies offered throughout the year. We also offer a General Citizens Police Academy for people ages 18 and up, as well as a Senior Citizens Police Academy with activities and lectures geared toward older residents. This was the first year for the Junior Academy, but based on the response we got, we'll definitely be offering this again next year.
This has been a very successful program. It filled up very quickly. We were unable to place other parents and their children into the program, which they really wanted to do. We just didn't have the room. But yes, we will be offering this in the near future, every year, every summer.
If you're interested in signing up for one of our Citizens Police Academies, consider liking our police department on social media for updates delivered right to your newsfeed. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/OFallonPolice.
The St. Charles County Ambulance District is reducing response times in O'Fallon. Let's see what's making the difference.
The city of O'Fallon continues to grow, and with new residential developments sprouting up, there's a need for increased emergency medical services. In fact, call volume in the city of O'Fallon has grown considerably in recent years. In total, the district responded to nearly 40,000 requests for service in 2017 because of high demand. Now, the St. Charles County Ambulance District just addressed increasing service demands with 2 new ambulance stations strategically positioned in the city of O'Fallon to help reduce response time to 911 calls. Located along Mexico Road just east of Sondern Street and along Highway P just west of Highway M, each station will be staffed around the clock with 2 paramedics ready to respond to medical emergencies in a flash.
The response time piece was the major factor in this reconfiguration of assets in O'Fallon. Whenever we have 2 units placed together, obviously that's great for the area right by that station, but it's not so great for outlying areas. So by separating these 2 units, it provides much more even, better coverage for the entire community.
The station is good for this area because it provides us with better response times for this growing part of the community. We're able to serve this population easier, and without having the division of many intersections to run through, it can shorten our response times.
The new stations are capable of housing multiple ambulances and other district assets such as utility terrain vehicles or disaster response trailers. The buildings incorporate a number of features that enable them to remain up and running in the event of a disaster.
You're going to see a generator that is going to keep the station powered in the event of an extended power outage. You're also going to see a 600-gallon potable water supply in the basement that will keep us up and running even in an extended period of time without services.
We've got a larger work area for our offices and computers to have a better workstation. Got more square footage in the kitchen, which is similar to the home, always a busy area in our stations, especially when you have multiple crews, and updated amenities for our equipment storage and gear placement and things of that nature.
It's good to know that the St. Charles County Ambulance District has repositioned assets to provide better coverage for the community. To find out more on these new state-of-the-art stations, you can go to sccad.com.
This will absolutely benefit our response times, given the locations and areas that they've been placed will certainly help the response times to the O'Fallon community, and they've been very well placed.
Our next story takes us inside the world of daylily hybrids and one dedicated gardener.
Drive down the right street in O'Fallon, and you might stumble across a quiet little house with an incredible display of flowers. This is Kathy Cratley's house, and her colorful blooms are planted with such care, you'd think she bred them herself. And you'd be right. Kathy is what's known as a backyard hybridizer, and she's been dreaming up new varietals of daylilies since a chance trip inspired her passion in these vibrant flowers.
I retired in 2000, and just before I retired, I took a trip down to Missouri Botanical Gardens. And I had always gardened, and I had a few daylilies. I had a yellow one and a pink one and a red one. But I got down to the gardens and I was just amazed at the different forms that I didn't know existed. I mean, there's spiders and there's doubles and there's purples and there's pinks. That got me really into it.
Kathy's garden began to take shape, and she joined two clubs devoted to daylilies, the West County Daylily Club and the Region 11 American Daylily Society. But it took some convincing to make the leap from backyard planter to backyard hybridizer.
I had thought about hybridizing, but you have to wait 2 years to see any results. And I didn't think I had that much patience. And O.C. Watley was one of our founders of our club. And he talked to me, he says, it's only the first year you have to wait 2 years. If you hybridize every year, then after the first time, you're going to have new stuff every year. So he kind of talked me into it. And I overdid the first few years, made too many seeds. And trouble is, I have a hard time getting rid of the kids that I make. Some of them are good enough to register, some of them aren't. Either the bud count isn't good enough or the branching isn't good enough. But the flower is so pretty, I can't give it away.
Daylilies are hardy plants. They happily grow in nearly any climate or soil. They enjoy sun and shade, and they're resistant to insects and disease. And most importantly for hybridizers, daylilies are considered perfect flowers, meaning they have both male and female organs inside each flower. This makes it simple for anyone to experiment with their own hybrid varieties. And that might be why there are 80,000 recognized daylilies, with more being added every year. 27 of those are Kathy's own creations, and she's made yearly introductions since 2006. Each is a beautiful addition to the daylily world, and while Kathy loves all of her daylilies, one in particular has really caught her fancy.
The Heavenly Hula Dancer is one of my tall ones. And I was born and raised in Hawaii, so you get this 60-inch high daylily that dances in the breeze, so it had to be Heavenly Hula Dancer. And that's been pretty popular because a lot of people like the taller daylilies.
For some gardeners, hybridizing daylilies is about seeking out particular colors or shapes, bloom timing, or other attributes. Others, like Kathy, just enjoy the process and the joy of seeing new daylilies develop.
I don't know that I really have a goal. I kind of get off my goal. I start one thing and kind of depends what blooms, when those new seedlings bloom, and sometimes that sends me off in another direction.
Every summer, Kathy's backyard garden is full of old favorites and new daylilies enjoying their day in the sun. And while it's a lot of work, it's also proved to be an engaging, rewarding hobby. Her passion for daylilies has led to lifelong friendships with members of her club and gardeners she meets online. But the simplest aspect of daylily hybridizing remains her favorite: sitting in her garden with her husband, waiting to see what blooms next.
Now that summer's in full swing, let's check in with our project management team and see what our crews are doing to improve your commute.
Our Public Works Department puts a ton of time and effort into maintaining and improving our city roads, and for good reason. It's a big expense each year, but it's well worth it. Roads are the lifeblood of any city, and an investment in our infrastructure is an investment in our community.
Our public roadway infrastructure is an absolute necessity in order to get people to work, to school, to their favorite leisure time activity. It's imperative that we continue to fund and improve our infrastructure in order to maintain the quality of life that everyone here in the city of O'Fallon has come to expect.
One major project underway this year is the Wabash Avenue reconstruction. Residents and motorists might not even recognize this road when our crews have wrapped up work, as we're adding a sidewalk and storm sewers for the north side of the road, and reconstruction of the box culvert at Edlin Lane. Stage 1 of construction has begun and will conclude around mid-August, weather depending. Please note the road is currently entirely closed, so follow detour signs to navigate around the construction. Highway K is the most traveled route in the city, and our shared use path project will open up this major thoroughfare to bicyclists, walkers, and even people in wheelchairs. The project will provide a continuous path from Feisey Road in the middle of O'Fallon to Technology Drive in the south. Currently, construction has progressed to the Wild Winds Drive intersection, with work being done as quick as possible to mitigate the impact to residents. Once completed, this project will go a long way towards making O'Fallon a truly walkable, bikeable community. Our city's annual concrete program is also underway and is focused on repairing our city's lowest rated streets. With $1.5 million in the budget, our crews will be able to tackle roads across O'Fallon, like Turtle Creek and Bryan Valley. Some roads may be reduced to a single lane during repairs, but our crews are working diligently to minimize any disruptions to your commute. Here's a quick look at projects that are still ahead. The city is in the process of acquiring parcels necessary for the resurfacing and repair of Mexico Road between Barrington Drive and Highway K. This project will also add a 10-foot wide ADA-compliant sidewalk along the south side of Mexico, a welcome addition for residents who live along this major road. And big changes are coming to Hoff Road, as preliminary plans have been developed to widen the pavement, add paved shoulders, and even realign a portion of the roadway. These changes will extend from West Terra Lane to Progress West Lane, and will make the roads much safer for the heavy vehicles that travel down this thoroughfare every day. To follow along with the progress of any of these projects, head online to www.ofallon.mo.us/projects. This page also includes maps of affected areas, timelines for projects, and an easy way to sign up for project updates delivered right to your email. And remember, when you see our crews out in our city streets, please give them some room and drive carefully.
Number one is, make sure the phones are put down. Let's not be on the phone talking, texting. It's also too imperative to observe the speed limits through those construction areas. As with anybody, those workers out there are somebody's family. They go home at the end of the day to family. We want to make sure they get there. So it's just, can't stress enough that it's imperative to pay attention and slow down to those work zones as it would be your own family out there working.
Our next story follows a Missouri Special Olympics basketball team as they prepare to make a splash in the national games. Joe Meyer has the story.
Athletes from all over the world participate in Special Olympics. This program transforms lives through the joy of sport every day, everywhere. And within Missouri, 15,000 athletes compete in a variety of sporting activities. On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, we caught up with Missouri's Special Olympics unified basketball team as they prepared for a trip to the USA Games in Seattle. Special Olympics Unified Sports is an inclusive program that combines individuals with intellectual disabilities and individuals without intellectual disabilities.
The unified partners are there to assist and help the athletes learn the game, be better at the game, and just overall teach them the ability that they know to get better.
During practices, I help get things going and kind of run drills, and then during games, I bring the ball up the court and do my best to assist all the other players instead of just trying to score myself.
They help me focus on rebounding and shooting.
Sports like basketball bring communities together, and 500,000 people compete in Special Olympics unified sports. Missouri's unified basketball team is on its way to the Special Olympics National Summer Games in the United States that includes athletes from all 52 U.S. programs. And getting chosen to compete is an honor for the athletes.
We had a week-long camp that we went to. A bunch of different athletes and unified partners from around the state came, and it was kind of like a tryout. We all practiced basketball that week, got to know each other, and then at the end of the week, the leaders of Special Olympics kind of picked the team from that. And I really had a great time at the camp, and I like how they do that. It gives everyone a fair chance to get to go.
After we got to camp, we got a letter from the mail to see if we got qualified, and I got a letter saying that I got qualified, and I got super excited about it.
Once the athletes were chosen for the team, they hit the hardwood for practice. And this team is full of talented athletes.
We have our 2 twin towers, our 6'4", 6'6" players. We run an offense through them a lot.
But it all starts with our guys down low, Shell and Griff, working in the paint. Once we get them open, then that really opens up all of our shooters outside. And I think we'll fare pretty well up in Seattle because of that. We don't just have one thing we can do. We can go inside, we can shoot outside, and we're pretty good passing the ball too.
Finding practice court time was a challenge for this team, but the City of O'Fallon and the Renaud Spirit Center helped Missouri's Special Olympics unified basketball team with needed gym space.
We haven't had a lot of practices like we wanted to, and they've cleared the schedule, gave us, gym time to get our final preparations for USA Games. I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Good luck to Missouri's Special Olympics unified basketball team at the USA Games in Seattle. And finally, if you're interested in volunteering with Special Olympics Missouri, or you would like to just find out more information on the programs they offer, you can visit somo.org.
Thanks for joining us for this show. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@ofallon.mo.us. And please remember to give back to your community, because O'Fallon matters to all of us.